gonna pause. Good evening. I'm Juan Salgado, Chancellor of City Colleges of Chicago, and I'm excited to introduce the digital launch of Innovation One at City Colleges of Chicago. I would like to extend a special welcome and thank you to Apple Community Education Initiatives for their support of our amazing new learning spaces. I would also like to welcome our City Colleges colleagues and thank them for their continued dedication over this most challenging year. I want to extend a personal welcome to all of the learners who have participated in training through Innovation One. Thank you for your work. Innovation One and its satellite sites are designed to continue City College's mission to deliver exceptional learning opportunities and educational services for diverse student populations in Chicago. Innovation One sites will be strategically situated throughout our city at Truman College, Olive Harvey College, Kennedy King College, and Arturo Velasquez Institute, a satellite location of Daly College. This strategic investment allows city colleges to support the development of educators via access to state-of-the-art technology and training initiatives addressing the digital divide. I'm especially delighted that Truman College's designation as a Hispanic-serving institution situates Innovation One to serve those whose access to technology is disproportionately affected by systemic inequalities related to race, ethnicity, language, and immigration status. Thank you for coming this evening. I look forward to meeting you all during our official launch this fall. I will now hand the program over to the Innovation One team.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the digital launch of Innovation One. I want to thank everyone for coming this evening. I hope you enjoyed our silent drum line. But if we were in person, we'd have an opportunity to be greeted by our drum line, the only drum line in City Colleges of Chicago. So we're extremely happy about that and happy to have you all here with us this evening. Those of you that may not know me, my name is Sean Jackson. I am the proud president of Harry S. Truman College. And on behalf of City Colleges of Chicago, as well as Harry S. Truman College, I want to welcome you this evening. We want to take a moment to introduce you to Innovation One. So I'll talk about tonight's agenda pretty quickly. We want to introduce you to the concept. Some of you know it already, but we want to be able to give you a brief explanation on what Innovation One is. And then we want to introduce you or reintroduce some of you to our Innovation One learning community, which is made up of our ambassadors and our learning cohorts. We're going to take an opportunity to do a virtual tour. If you have not seen the space, an opportunity to take a look at it. We have an educator spotlight. As you may know, during the pandemic, we did offer virtual programmings, and we want to introduce you to one of our educators, Kenneth Freeman. And the most important part is an opportunity to actually meet individuals from our professional learning community. So excited to bring a panel forth to you this evening that will be presented by Kiss Allen Glover. We'll finally do a quick closing activity and an opportunity for questions and answers. So what is Innovation One? Innovation One Technology Training Resource Center is designed to meet the diverse needs of learners through multiple age ranges throughout our city. It provides training and resources for students, serves as a workplace and learning hub for Chicago educators, both in the K through 12 as well as higher ed institutions. It provides access to technology and resources for community members who may not otherwise have these opportunities. When we think about Innovation One, it is a true one-stop shop for Apple educators, Apple students, and Apple consumers. So the rationale, why did we create this space? Well, the city of Chicago needs accessible space for both educators, students, and community to develop and participate in 21st century learning experiences, shared experiences. In the current landscape here in Chicago, there are challenges to engaging a diverse group of stakeholders, such as limited opportunities for the adult learner to engage in 21st century learning opportunities outside of their teenage years. Access to quality space and programming is limited to our students, as classrooms often lack equipment and educators trained to offer services. And educators often lack access to equipment in their classrooms and opportunities to build professional learning communities with their peers. Innovation One is designed to serve educators, students, and community, creating an opportunity for shared learning spaces and experiences. So why Truman? I like to tell you it is the coolest community college in the nation. However, we have some unique assets here sitting in the middle of the neighborhood of Uptown. We're accessible, being right off the lake, and those of you that have been here, we are very close to the newly renovated CTA train station that goes through the heart of the city here in Wilson. We have free parking, which is a premium here on the north side of Chicago, in Chicago, period, but definitely on the north side. Our facilities offer both large indoor and outdoor spaces, lecture halls and classrooms, as well as additional computer labs that will allow us to host Apple programming and summer institutes and really expand the learning of our participants that participate in Innovation One. We also provide our participants, particularly our learners, the opportunity to have exposure to a college experience. So we are a college campus, and what better way to expose future students, high school students, community members to the college experience than actually having these learning opportunities in a college. Again, we sit in the middle of a neighborhood, which is Uptown, which is a few blocks away from our beautiful Lake Michigan. There's wonderful food here, opportunities for a lot of diversity, as well as we are considered to be the art district of the city. So really excited about those opportunities to be able to provide to our participants. I think most importantly, and what very positions us very uniquely as one of our 7 city colleges, is that we are the center of excellence in education and human natural sciences. And we talk about being the training hub for teachers. Our leadership team is made up of educators with over 15 years of experience in Chicago public schools, which puts us in a unique position to have a robust partnership with the very students and teachers that we are trying to serve. Truman is also positioned uniquely near most of what are identified as the Apple schools for Chicago Public Schools, those schools that currently use that equipment now and have placed a heavy emphasis on computer science in their curriculum. What you have here is a list of 24 schools that are within 5.5 miles of our campus. Some of them you may recognize: Lane Tech, Lakeview, Roosevelt, all schools that have shown an appetite for not only building the acumen and capacity of their teachers, but also making sure that their students have opportunities to have a wealth of these resources to their disposal. So when we look at the actual physical space, it is actually made up of 7 distinct areas. Those of you that know when we started this project, it actually started out as 3. But as we continue to build, we recognize with great intentionality that we wanted to create a space that was available for a multitude of learners, regardless of where they sat in their educational journey. And so we build these spaces with great intentionality to support that learner. So we have the training lab, and the training lab consists, is our computer lab, consists of our Mac computers, as well as our iPads so students can participate in coding and other opportunities. I think what's unique about this space and some of the other spaces that we've been building out is it is considered, the new HyFlex classroom, where we have the opportunity to pipe out learning that happens here to other places across the city. We have what we call the Education Studio, and we try to model it a little bit after the Apple Store spaces. Small, what we call a theater space, but it's really just a seating area that allows for an intimate group to work in an audiovisual space. We have the Discovery Bar, which is a space where individuals can tinker and take things apart. Those of you that know Leslie Lehman from our team really enjoys that part of this initiative. We have the Community Education Hub, which is extremely important, and we treat it as a community library where individuals or participants that take their training here at Innovation One have the opportunity to expand their learning opportunities even when they're not in class. And so we developed a space for that also gives participants access to this equipment outside of our normal instructional hours. The Learning Library is extremely important. So any individual that's had the opportunity to train with us has access to a learning library that they can take for their own individual use as well as classroom use. We have the podcast studio, which is relatively new to this project, but we wanted students to be able to showcase what they've learned right away and to create a space for them to do it. We have a satellite office and workshop space, and this is designed for our partners that we work with in this space. So they have an opportunity to send folks here, and they don't necessarily have to run to their own offices when they're supporting our work here at Innovation One. Part of what was the Chancellor's speech at the beginning of this presentation was the opportunity to expand our reach. There's 77 distinct neighborhoods here in Chicago, and we sit in just one of them here in Uptown. And being able to have this opportunity, and I cannot thank Apple enough for believing in our vision, is how can we reach as many people as we can with this opportunity? And so one of the things we wanted to do to further our access was create this concept of satellite sites, being able to use our sister colleges that sit also in distinct neighborhoods to be able to expand learning opportunities for both educators, students, and community members. So the satellite sites will mirror the training lab, which you can see the picture here, which is our computer lab. And it was, again, serve as learning hubs for both students, educators, and community members across the Chicagoland area. So these satellite sites actually expand on the work that we've been charged with here at Truman College. We look at the opportunity to support our ACN network, to continue to be the teacher training center for CPS teachers, including our computer science endorsement that we hope to launch this fall. To expand training for our CCC faculty across the district, to have a computer lab that's open use for students that are taking CIS courses across our district, and again, to support our STEAM Ambassador program, which Laura will have a moment to speak with you about this evening. So City Colleges of Chicago is the largest community college system in Illinois and one of the largest in the nation. We have roughly 4,000 faculty and 4,000 faculty and staff, and about 77,000 students annually at all 7 colleges, including our 5 satellite sites. And we are all designated as minority serving institutions. When we talk about dealing with the digital divide, when we talk about evening the playing field, the mission of each of our colleges is to provide access and opportunity, quite oftentimes for those that have been underserved. And so when we have this opportunity, and again, I want to thank Apple for believing in this vision, it is already embedded in the mission of our colleges. Now we have the opportunity to expand that reach throughout our city. So as the Chancellor mentioned in his earlier speech, there are 3 areas that we will be looking to expand our reach in the way of satellite sites. Arturo Velasquez that sits in the Pilsen neighborhood, Kennedy King that sits in Inglewood, and Olive Harvey College that sits in Roseland. So campuses that agree to serve as a satellite site must commit to Innovation One's structural and programmatic needs. And so there was an investment made both from a operational standpoint as well as facilities to be able to host a satellite site and again expand our reach in regards to Innovation One. So satellite sites needed to commit to supporting the engagement of members of the Innovation One learning community. And again, we're talking this evening about the space. And again, you will get an opportunity to meet individuals that have learned with us. But this is really a learning community that we are creating across the city. And what makes it unique is we are bringing students, educators, and community together, a shared learning experience in the same space. These satellite sites must also agree to blackout dates for scheduling that align with Chicago Public Schools professional development schedule. This is extremely important as the principal is a key lever of teachers' professional development. And so having the opportunity to have these spaces available and working in sync with the professional development schedule that is established by CPS will give us an opportunity to reach more educators. And we're really excited about that opportunity. We also must provide priority scheduling and opportunities for programming during breaks, spring and summer. So when we talk about the summer learning law, so we talk about the opportunity gaps across Chicago, these spaces will serve as hubs to bring those things together, to give our students opportunities, to give our educators opportunities. So it's extremely important in those moments where classrooms are not available that we are providing access. And it's another good thing about having these learning opportunities within a community college is our operational hours are extremely agile, seeing as we are customarily dealing with the adult learner. So really excited about that opportunity. And it will also serve as a training site for our STEAM Ambassador program. And again, Laura will have a moment to speak about that this evening. So before we get into the rest of this evening's events, I just wanted to take a moment to thank Apple and the entire Apple team and everyone that our partners, our learners, everyone that has helped to support this work. When the Apple team first visited our campus, I expressed to them the power of community colleges and specifically what it can mean to a city like Chicago. I remember talking about how antiquated the viewpoints were about community colleges and how I felt it permeated our institutions both internally and externally, and how their presence here when they came was the beginning of changing the narrative. I had the opportunity super quickly. I remember I was grabbing Tracy, Stacy, anybody I could find to share this vision around Innovation One and to create this learning hub to provide access to everyone across the city. And I can't thank you enough for your belief in me and the team. I didn't think we would be at this moment. While our work is just getting started, we can't thank you enough for the tools that help bring this vision to life. And again, I wanted to make sure that I imparted these words on you before we go into the rest of the program. I think community colleges are uniquely positioned to address multi-generations at the same time. And your investment in Innovation One expands our reach and will allow us to utilize technology to bring forward that mission. And I just wanted to make sure that you all know, and you got to come to Chicago, that we really, truly appreciate you. And we are excited about the work ahead, and we recognize the commitment and responsibility it's going to take. But we welcome the challenge and just truly appreciate your knowledge, your camaraderie, and your belief in our vision. I will now turn it over to Laura Cheatham to talk about STEAM Ambassadors. And thank you all for being with us this evening.
Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Cheatham, one of the Associate Deans of Instruction here at Truman, a part of the Innovation One team, and I lead the STEAM Ambassadors project for the City Colleges of Chicago. So kind of an overview, you heard the Chancellor talking about the digital divide. You heard Dr. J mention the digital divide, and really part of what we want to do with Innovation One and with STEAM Ambassadors both is to start to bridge that digital divide. We know that information services and resources are increasingly moving online and have unequal access, and especially for students who have been historically marginalized due to their race, income, immigration status, is something that is a big issue for us as we go forward. And so part of what we've been trying to address is that, because we know that like a lot of employment and health access and social services are now requiring internet access and technology skills. And often the people who need to utilize those services the most are the people who don't have access to that. And so what STEAM Ambassadors does is it takes our college age students and puts them into the neighborhoods where this limited access has been. And so, what we're really trying to do is kind of stop the long-term detrimental effects of this digital divide that a lot of our students and community members experience. So up next, I created a little hype video for our STEAM Ambassadors from last year, just to highlight a little bit of our students and kind of some of the work that they've done. And I know we're going to play it for you now. It always makes me so happy when I watch it. I'm so proud of our students and the work that they were able to do, that first year. So how this started was last year. We have been talking about, this digital divide, the gap in access to STEAM fields for our students, especially in the south and west side of the city. And, the mayor had put this initiative, My Shine, My Future, in place, where we're wanting to create meaningful learning opportunities for students to participate in all over the summer. And so what we decided to do was to create this STEAM Ambassadors program where we take our 18 to 24-year-old students, from the city colleges, all 7 colleges, and train them to be mentors. And so last year we had more than 50 of our students who participated in this, kind of comprehensive mentoring training program, where they learn not only leadership skills and kind of soft skills of how do I take what I have now learned and teach it, to K-12 students? How do I make this accessible for people who may not understand that? So they learn those skills, as well as, trauma-informed care and the specific kind of STEAM-filled backgrounds that we are teaching. And I'll talk a little bit more about what we're offering a little later. So these STEAM ambassadors spend 20 to 25 hours a week in this program, first starting training early in June, and then programming starts in July and runs through August. And so, part of, like I said, we're trying to do is really get this STEAM activity in the hands of students who don't have access. And so this year we had over 100 students apply to participate, almost doubling the size from, the first year in terms of who was interested in access. We've offered additional programming this year. We've offered some new positions and also have some new partners where this started mostly with Northwestern, the University of Community Education Partnerships, and also Project Exploration where the main pieces started. But now we've added multiple other groups who wanted to join in this exciting work that we're doing. So a little bit about some of the programs. So our STEAM ambassadors are learning how to code themselves and then teaching, elementary and middle school age students how to code. We have drones, we have robots. They've created games like different like silhouette swag and digital design, music using GarageBand, how to tell a digital story, producing art. And then new this year, we added augmented reality. Really just exciting opportunities for things that many of our students have never had access to. And now they get to not only create these things and kind of share their creativity and passion, but they get to mentor other youth as they do it. And so kind of up next, who our partners are. So obviously the Innovation One Center, we use that as the training hub for STEAM ambassadors. The Chicago Park Districts, where we're actually holding camps to offer the programming that our STEAM ambassadors are trained in, the YMCAs across the city, the CPS parent universities, DFSS ability sites, Project Exploration, and then new this year's the Boys and Girls Club. And so each of these locations, like we have, I think, 19 parks across the city that are participating in this program this year. I think we have 8 YMCAs that are participating. And both of those are double of what we had last year participate in terms of those settings. And it's continuing to grow. There's a large amount of interest in this program for youth to have access to it, but also for our students to be able to learn job skills that then they can take with them moving forward. So one thing that we're really excited about, here at Truman and directly connected to this is for the first time, we are offering a position for STEAM Ambassadors Technology Champions. And we decided to create this because we loan out, iPads and equipment to the parks for people to use. And it's really important, not only for our STEAM ambassadors, but for the participants in these camps to understand how to use the technology in their hand. We never want to hand a device to someone and them not understand how to use it and become frustrated or angry or want to just put it down and do something else. We want them to be engaged with the process. And so really what we're doing is a train the trainer model where our people are passionate about the access to this equipment that they have, and then they can share it. So we have tech champions. We have 15 this year who are assigned to Truman in the Innovation One Center, who are working with our team to coordinate the technology for the youth across the city that we're offering. They're helping loan out devices. They're helping prep those devices to make sure they're ready with all the apps needed for the programming. And then as these camps have started rolling out, they're helping troubleshoot devices and issues that we see. And then an exciting part is year round, we want to hire these technology champions who have now well-versed in Apple devices and the programming and that everyone can create and everyone can code curriculum to serve as, you know, the managers of our lab spaces and Innovation One that you'll get to see soon during this tour. So, you know, helping our faculty and staff here at Truman, but across the city, students, both K-12 and higher education, and then our community members as well. And then finally, I always think it's great to hear from people who participated in this program before. And so I like to share these quotes of two of our students who served as STEAM ambassadors last year, who both shared how important mentoring has been in their life and how they felt supported and encouraged and how that has played an important role in their success. And both of them really commented and shared that it was a really powerful experience for them, for us to believe in their ability to be a mentor and support others. And that just how awesome it was to think that they could be a person that was leaving a positive impact on students who look like them when they often miss that in their K-12 years. So it's a really powerful experience. It's something we're all super excited to be a part of. It directly fits our mission as a college and what we're trying to do and achieve. And I think it's just a perfect blend of these two projects of, you know, the Innovation One Center, and then having this opportunity for our students to get their hands on this technology and to be able to teach others how to use it as well. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Leslie Lehman, who's going to share some educator spotlights and a tour of the physical space.
Thanks, Laura. My name is Leslie Lehman. I'm Director of Teaching and Learning Programs, and I'm really excited to share with you. This spring, we had the pleasure of hosting 5 remote pilots for programming at Innovation One. So we had elementary and high school teachers, early childhood educators, Chicago Public School parents, and Truman faculty who all work together to build learning communities and to practice using the new Apple devices and the Innovation One spaces. You're about to see some of their work as part of an iMovie trailer. You're going to see things like coded apps, app design journals, supports for college courses, activity plans, and all kinds of neat designs that came from the participants themselves. That includes our parent Asmith, who's here with us today to speak on the panel. You'll be seeing some of her work as well. We're really excited to share this with you and to show you some of the activities that our pilot participants came up with. pretty proud of our students' work and all the participants in our pilot program. So thanks for checking that out with us. And Dr. Jackson's going to introduce you to our digital tour.
Thank you, Leslie. So again, I'm going to say this is not in lieu of your visit to Chicago, Apple team, but truly excited to show you all the space, as well as those of you that are with us this evening. We're still doing some finishing touches. You know, the work is never done. However, we're truly excited around the intentionality and what we were able to put together, again, through the support of Apple. So without further ado, I introduce you to Innovation One.
Welcome to Harry S. Truman College, the northernmost city college of Chicago and home to the Falcons. Truman College is home to the Innovation One Education, Technology, Training, and Resource Center. This hub houses the Training Lab, which has IMAX and built-in cameras for in-person, hybrid, remote, and flex instruction. This space is designed for classes, small groups, and presentations with intentional space for learners to watch and learn from each other. The instructional technology allows for instructors to simultaneously broadcast remote instruction while teaching in person. The Community Hub serves as a one-stop shop for digital and English literacy. It includes IMAX for individual use, a group meeting space, and an institutional training space for group meetings. This space is designed for community partners who will be able to use this space for events, trainings, and education. The studio is a theater-like space that allows educators to live stream or pre-record instruction. It also allows learners to present audio and visual projects The Discovery Bar is a professional collaboration space where tech specialist learners can develop career skills and collaborate with each other. This space is designed to mimic a technology work setting and to encourage career readiness. The Device Loaning Lab is a space in which learners can check out iPads and MacBooks for learning around and off campus. The podcasting studio has state-of-the-art AV equipment for learners to record and stream podcasts and blogs. The space includes a range of industry standard equipment to encourage learners to learn and share their technical skills. Thank you for digitally touring Innovation One. We hope to see you in person soon.
So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. That was some incredible information. We've learned a ton about the space and the wonderful opportunities that it'll provide for community. Now it's time to listen to the learning community. What did they learn? Today's Educator Spotlight is a 20-year educator. He took on the task of educating educators. Today's Spotlight is Mr. Ken Friedman, computer science administrator at Amundsen High School, as well as a CSI adjunct a CIS adjunct professor here at Harry S. Truman College. Please enjoy this session. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Digital Innovation One panel discussion. Today, it's all about the Educator Spotlight, building educators. We are live here at Innovation One Podcast Studios with my main man. We have Mr. Ken Friedman. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good, doing good. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on this platform. We thought it'd be important, man, that we get in front of you and talk to you. You played an integral role in this pilot program here with Innovation One, and we're gonna dive right in. Tell us a little bit, Ken, tell us a little bit about your experience in teaching and the coding concept to CPS educators.
Well, I've been teaching in CPS, I think going on my 20th year. That's either this year or the next one. And in the last 5 of those years, it's been computer science and coding to students, and then started branching out a little bit about 3 years ago to include teachers through Truman College. So I'm a big proponent of coding, computer science in schools, and teachers, I think, are the driving force of that. So the teachers don't bring it, the students won't get it. So
absolutely, thank you so much. Are there any unique benefits to educators in learning this Swift language?
Well, I think they get to experience what the students will experience, right? I think we're most powerful in teaching when we've gone through it ourselves. And so what I like about the Swift curriculum and any curriculum is that you do it. And when I teach teachers, I'm going to teach you exactly the way it would be taught to a student. If you're struggling, I'm not going to come over there and rescue you. I want you to think through it, because there's a lot of learning in the struggle, and so I think that's the key. It's you're learning the language yourself if you don't have any prior experience, and you're learning it the way students will. So I think that makes you a better teacher when it comes to that time.
That's an amazing concept. That's that hands-on approach, so that when you get into some differences in the classroom where a student's not understanding, you can, as an educator, you can kind of revert back to when you struggled a little bit and think about the steps you took to kind of move forward. That's an excellent concept. What are some professional development topics related to educational technology that you think would support CPS teachers, Mr. Freeman?
Well, certainly, I think the first one, which I think we are doing, is an introduction to computer science, right? I mean, that's sort of a broad overview of what this field is all about, the hardware, the software, and the systems that come together really to solve problems. And so from there, I think is when you can sort of deep dive into some specific areas of that. Coding is one area, design is another area. So I think though, I would say that starting with that introduction, a good introduction, because sometimes people misconstrue learning how to code, learning about computer science. Learning how to code is part of that. You know, it is a big part of that. Software powers a lot of the hardware that we're using today. But I think as you begin with students or teachers, it's sort of a step back with, well, let's look at this holistic. How does all this fit together?
That's excellent. So what I hear is there's a basic approach to this all. And from there, you grow in the concepts and the different opportunities via coding, design, things like that. And once again, you're learning on your end so that you then take it back into the classroom. I think programs like this are phenomenal. All the way up from you working with the educators to the educators taking it back in the classroom, and then this program being able to provide that equipment for teachers to bring. It don't matter the zip code at that point, right?
No, not at all, not at all.
Right?
No,
Because now we're really digging into that digital divide, right? What you say?
It's about capturing the interest. Doesn't matter where you live. If I don't get you interested, then you're not going to do it. But if I can hook you, if I can get you to see all the things you can develop, create, and design, either working with people for a company or as an entrepreneur, that's really, I think, that it's like infectious. And if I can achieve that, that's what I try to do with students and teachers. If I can get you to something about it to resonate with you, you're more likely to continue to explore it beyond me.
Spoken like a true educator, Mr. Freeman. Finally, take us home. Tell us about your upcoming summer coding concept course.
All right, so what I think what's happening at Truman is a boot camp style thing. I think that they had some requests from teachers where they wanted to do a deeper dive, and they wanted to get it, more quickly. So I think we're gonna try to do a 2-week deep dive into the basics of the Swift programming language with Xcode, and I was hopeful if we were able to do it on site that we really could get that connected to some physical devices. It really comes alive when you're building iOS and iPad OS apps. It really comes alive when you can have a physical device and you're seeing on that screen what you built on that Mac. So, but in the absence of that, because during the pandemic, we couldn't do that. So, we kind of did the next best thing. People had their own at home. They did some things and showed that they could. But one of the things that's built into the system is a really good simulator application set where it shows you what, on screen, what an iPhone and iPad would do in software based upon some of the design and coding that you've done yourself on a particular app. So
excellent, man. I'm excited for the educators. I'm excited for you. You're doing a wonderful job. And everything I hear, you're doing an absolutely wonderful job. And in order for us to continue to grow in this 21st century and going forward, right, we have to embrace this technology and really begin to understand it in and out. We want to thank you, Mr. Freeman, for joining the platform today. This has been the Educator Spotlight. We have my main man, Mr. Ken Freeman. We are live. Innovation One podcast studio. We want to thank you, man. I know you got to get back to teaching today.
I do.
But thank you so much for the platform, and you have an absolutely wonderful day.
I am a fan. Thank you. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, sir.
Great.
Ken Freeman there in that Educator Spotlight dropping nuggets. I am Kiss Allen Glover, and I am the resident Director of Enrollment Management. But when I come in this room, I call myself the DEM, right? Because I think outside the box, as we want our parents and our community and our students to do. You've watched the videos. Every time they show the podcast room, I'm in here. Like I have moved my office here. Today, there's a common theme: building educators, engaging students, and providing access to community. And I think as we move forward here, we have an incredible panel set up that will answer some of those questions. We'll talk to the very participants who jumped into this head first. Some of them had never used the equipment. You'll learn their stories, and you'll learn how they're moving forward, encouraged, and able to pass that information on to our community and our students. First on the panel, we have one of Truman College finest, one of my favorite professors here. I want you guys to welcome Dr. Kelly O'Malley to the panel. How you doing, Dr. O'Malley?
Well, Mr. Glover, how are you?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Also to the panel, one of CPS finest, has been in the system for quite some time. We had an excellent opportunity to talk about this opportunity. I want everyone to welcome Ms. Deborah Bradley.
Hello, everyone. How are you this evening?
Hey, she is so excited. And finally, our parent participant, I had an opportunity to do an interview with this young lady, and her energy oozed through the Zoom connection. She was so excited about her ability to then communicate with her kids now that she had this device and she was learning. I want you all to help me welcome Miss Azmat Begum to the panel.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for making me a part of this conversation. It gives me immense pleasure, and I feel really honored to be associated with all of you. Thank you so much, Mr. Kisalan, for inviting me here.
Thank you. Absolutely. We're going to dive right in here. As I mentioned, this is all about building educators, engaging students, and access. I keep hearing about access. And so we'll go through here. We'll start with you, Ms. Azmat. Prior to embarking on this journey, what was your knowledge of Apple products or just technology in general?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say I have with least knowledge about like 1 or 2. You know, I know nothing about Apple technology except for a device that we had for our kids that we have got as a gift from their uncle. And they were just using it to take a picture, sometimes play a game on it, and then not much of it. But after I got it from, after I learned this course from Leslie, and she has introduced me on how to design app, which was like a level above on what we were doing. So we knew nothing. I knew nothing about it, but now me and my kids, we sit together, we access the technology, we make movies about our vacations. We discussed about how to, we will design the next app for our family, which is going to be helpful for all of us to get in conversation. So it's a level above of what I was before and now what we are. Now I can discuss with them about the latest things happening on Apple.
Absolutely, we appreciate that. What you described to me, what you just described to the audience is side-by-side learning at its best, right? Those devices allow you guys to have common conversations. We're changing the conversation at the dinner table. And when you're learning, that's always a wonderful thing. Ms. Deborah Bradley, why are programs like this important to our community and to our colleges?
Well, they're definitely important. One thing that you talked about a little bit was the side-by-side learning to get parents engaged and students as well, and teachers learning. We learned directly from Mr. Freeman. I have to give kudos to Mr. Freeman for the wonderful class. He really stretched me, to say the least. I did have some technology understanding, but he really stretched me. The one thing that I loved about it was the exploration portion, that he allowed us to explore the product. And that's something I think I've always been a little hesitant of, thinking I would break something or ruin something or couldn't get something back. And that feeling of being able to explore, to learn by exploring. I think that's the biggest benefit to students, to children. And I think that's what would the biggest dynamic I think that would be added in here that would be great, is the power of exploration and learning and having the ability to have somewhere to go to do it.
That's excellent. And so you'll take that back into the classroom, the power
Sure.
of exploration. Absolutely. Dr. O'Malley, really quickly, wasn't an Apple user initially, right? Rumor has it, did you know where the on and off key was?
Thank you for starting off with that question, Mr. Glover. That is a great introduction. I appreciate that very much. Yes, needless to say, my Apple skills were 0. I had never used an Apple device before. I will readily admit I was very skeptical going in. I was very nervous. I was very anxious. I was initially very overwhelmed when I was introduced to my counterparts in the class. We had some really high level users, and I was a bit apprehensive. And as a faculty member who's been around City Colleges for 25 years, it was really a challenge for me. And it was a new feeling of going through a process that made me uncomfortable and made me question my teaching skills and my technology skills. But I have to say, it was the best eye-opening experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was such a positive learning experience that our teachers, Leslie and Mark, were absolutely fabulous. And it really opened up my eyes to ways that I could use technology in ways that I hadn't really previously thought about using it before. I had gotten into the program to really look at ways to explore how I teach political science. And so I was looking for ways to explore how to teach students the importance of news literacy. And I was so mesmerized by the technology that I ended up not only getting what I wanted out of my first assignment, I ended up exceeding my expectations for the program. And I am so grateful. It was an eye-opening experience for me. And it honestly, I said it to the group when we left on our last night together, it has truly made me a better teacher. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity.
Excellent. I started with that question because I know you love a good challenge. For everything that I've known about you, you dive right in, right? You step outside your comfort zone. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that answer. Asma, as explained earlier, this was new technology in the beginning. What were some of the easier components to you learning, and what were some of the more challenging components to the technology initially?
I would say from the start, to create an ID and then to switch the device that I got and to get used to it on how to access different options on the Apple technology was all very different than what we be using on a Lenovo laptop. So at home that we have. So it was all different. And from the beginning, I had actually invested for about 10 to 15 minutes of time from the time the class has started to just see how I will navigate on the keyboard with different options on, getting onto the Zoom link and after class assignments that we used to get, and the app design journal that Leslie used to send us. So it was all new for me, and I have to spend some time understanding how do I capture an image on this one. And I'm thankful to the Apple certification badges that I got, because I had spent my time answering those questions, going through the quizzes and learning on how I will use a particular option like a launch pad on Apple. I did learn a lot about movie making from iMovie on the Apple. So it was a learning from a 0 to a 10, and now I myself can create a lot of things on the Apple. And I actually created some acknowledgement for my kids when they have done some kind of an achievement from the remote learning. I used to give them a certificate that is already a created one in there, and covering letters and a storybook as well that we can create for ourselves. There is a lot when I explored, and I was extremely happy when I got those badges for myself. I still have it saved for myself to feel proud about. So it's been an extremely learning experience for a mother who don't know anything about Apple, who cannot indulge I was hesitated to indulge in a conversation with my kids about when they asked for, getting an Apple Pro. So I used to feel silent whether I should allow them or not. But now I know why would they ask for it, because it's the best to use right now.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Digital Innovation One panel discussion. We are live here from Innovation One podcast studio. My name is Kit Allen. I am your host, and we are engaged in a conversation with our learning community. Ms. Deborah Bradley, as a CPS partner, Would you consider this an effective field trip for CPS students?
By all means, yes. I think this would be a wonderful field trip. I work on Chicago's West Side in the Austin community. One thing we have tried to instill in our students is to believe bigger, see their future. We always talk about them having, going to college, to be able to dream to go that far. I think this would be an awesome experience to the college campus. So the things that we always talk about going to college, they can actually get the feel of walking into a building and knowing that other college students are here and I can do this too. And, you know, kind of puff their chest out a little bit to say, even I'm doing this as an 11-year-old or 12-year-old. I can't wait until I'm grown, you know, or a college age and which to go. I also think that with the digital divide, we do not have a lot of access to technology and materials at the school level, and to be able to bridge that by setting up a field trip to a college, which is the one thing we talk about, and to allow them to experience the technology at the college. And once again, the exploration is everything. And someone mentioned earlier about kind of like training the trainer thing. It's something to go in to learn something side by side with someone who also learned it there. And I'm a living witness to that, that if they're sitting with me, I actually got it from Truman, and now the kids are sitting with me and they get it from there. So I think it would be a phenomenal experience to be able to come to the school to participate.
Excellent, excellent. The other thing that comes to mind when we talk about that side-by-side experience, someone earlier mentioned 21st century learning experience for adults. And so that field trip could almost be a parent-student type of field trip where they're all in that same space, kind of learning the same thing at the same time, as you mentioned. Dr. O'Malley, how does Innovation One technology align with Truman College's 3 primary areas of focus, which are enrollment, communication, and the college experience, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think it represents the best of who we are, right? I mean, I think when we think about what Truman means to the community and what the community means to Truman, you know, yes, we're focused on enrollment, and certainly this is a great recruitment opportunity and a great retention opportunity for us to use to help support students in their learning and also to reach out to the community. But I think it can serve as a tremendous communication vehicle for us in terms of reaching out to students, to faculty, to staff. I know all of the messages that and the invitations to participate have gone out to everyone at the college, no matter their position. And it's really great to see everybody have access at the college to this particular technology. It's great to see the community involved, folks coming to the campus and looking around and tinkering in our spaces. But the most powerful thing for me is how it's impacting our students, and to see them have access to this technology in a more in an innovative and a creative way, but certainly in a more affordable and equitable way, I think really is tremendously powerful to students who don't otherwise have access to it. And to get them thinking, I think, like Ms. Bradley said, about what kinds of opportunities are out there and what they can do next, whether they decide to go into technology or whether they go into a STEM field or whether they do something completely outside of the field, but still use the technology to support their learning and to improve their professional skills. It's an amazing opportunity. And so I think it improves the college experience for all of us. Dr. J is going to blush when I say this, but when he first started at Truman, he talked about this one Truman mantra. And I think Innovation One represents who we are as One Truman, giving access to students, to faculty, to staff, to the community, giving this technology support in devices and services to all of those stakeholder groups is just a tremendous opportunity. And I think I'm grateful to be a part of it. It's just an amazing experience.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ms. Asmuth, what would you, as you talk with other parents about your experience, what would be some of the highlights that you, when you talk about the program and just Truman College as a whole? You've talked a lot about Leslie Lehman as your instructor. Obviously, you've had an opportunity to use the equipment. What would you tell other parents about this particular program?
I've actually taken the video that you sent me about the interview that I had, and I've actually distributed that to my friends and family members. When they saw it, the only question that they have is, how did you do it? So nobody knew about it, and I'm sure when they know about it, they all wanted to explore and how they can get into the course and how they can put their hands-on experience to it. I am the best example of someone who stay at home with kids who did not know anything about Apple technology. I got the information when I got the device. I did not know how to open that one. So my advice to those parents who do not know anything about it to approach to the programmers or the creators who can actually give us a opportunity to be a part of such programs and get used to the technology, because it's not that difficult. When we thought that we will not be able to crack something, it is possible. In the beginning I did feel it is difficult, but thanks to my trainer Leslie, who has given me a comfort level, who has encouraged me that I could do it, who has answered all my silly questions during the training, and who gave me an opportunity to come up with a question and do that in practice. So I would like to tell them, and I can do it, and of course they can do it. They can put their hands onto it, they can explore the device, and they can slowly get used to it and become a fan like me of Apple technology. If not their iPad, they can do it on Apple Pro devices that we have in the market, on their Apple phone itself. There is a lot of options of learning options available. If I am like I am blessed to have a trainer, and like I was involved in the discussion. If not, they can actually buy and go get online on the Apple website, and they can get themselves equipped with the knowledge like I did. So I'm extremely thankful to make me a part of this one, and I keep distributing my friends in the park about the video. When they see it, they feel proud about me, and they really compliment me that sitting at home, you have learned something, you are helping your kids, and yes, they have that thing in their mind that they will also start to do that, and they ask for tips from me. So I feel proud, and I feel very happy to share this knowledge with them.
Excellent. So we want to make sure you follow up, right? I look forward to watching you walk into the front door of Innovation One with a ton of parents behind you. Like
Yeah.
they're all coming to learn the way I learned. So we truly appreciate that. Ms. Deborah Bradley, can you talk a little bit about some of the specific ways that you'll share and advocate this program with your peers in and throughout CPS?
Well, I think the best way to advocate for the program is by them watching what I do. I think that would be the best advertisement, is for teachers to be able to see things that I'm doing with the kids, or things that kids are doing, that they want to pop in and see the type of things, or they want to know what is that excitement bubbling in that room, or to hear them coming out at lunchtime and still talking about things that they're working on, or they need to finish, or you actually hear kids who want to go home in the evenings and finish working on things during their homework time. So I think the biggest way I can advocate is for people to watch what I do. I think by testing out things in the classroom, and then encouraging other teachers to say, hey, this is a really cool program. Even I can help you with it, and I can show you how you can get connected. I can help train you. But when you get in this program, the cool things that you have, like being able to go on field trips to use equipment and things, I think that will be the biggest way that I could advocate for.
Absolutely, thank you. We are live, Digital Innovation One panel discussion. We are in Innovation One podcast studio, my favorite room on campus. My name is Kiss Allen, and this has been our Innovation One panel, our parents, our learning community are sharing their experiences out loud because it's important, right? This is the same energy that goes back to the students or back to the community or resonates through faculty here on campus. We'll ask here, Dr. O'Malley, when we talk about the digital divide, this particular program in this community and throughout CPS, how will this help us kind of bridge that gap when you talk about the digital divide?
Sure. I think, well, first and foremost, it creates access, right? I mean, it really gives our students, our community, our teachers, both at CPS and at City Colleges of Chicago, access to technology that they might not otherwise have had access to. I think it's tremendously empowering. I know as a teacher, it was extremely empowering for me to go through the learning experience, all the struggles and the trials and the tribulations that the gentleman, Mr. Freeman, spoke about earlier. It really helped me rethink my approach with my students and be more patient and more understanding about the struggle that they have with regard to technology sometimes, and made me more empathetic to that process in a new way. I also think it allows us to use a variety of teaching methods to remove existing barriers to learning and really give students the opportunity to be creative in terms of the learning products they produce, the assessments, the assignments, the projects, and really tap into their creativity and get them excited about learning, not just the subject matter, but really the process, the discovery, the newness of learning this technology. And ultimately, I think in classrooms anyway, I think it helps students to showcase what they've learned in really new, innovative, and creative ways. And I think that in and of itself, providing the access, empowering the students, getting them excited about learning, encouraging them to seek out these kinds of opportunities, whether at CPS or City Colleges, really can help create a bridge over that divide and give students and parents and families and teachers the opportunity to really shine.
Thank you all so very much. I want to personally thank you all for your courage. It's not always easy, to step out of your comfort zone and really learn something new and then go further with it and explain those learnings and explain how you may have missed or your opportunity areas and such. And so I want to thank all three of you all for joining this panel. The keys that I heard is access. Mr. Freeman talked a lot about sparking the interest. And we talked about this learning community where we'll continue to learn and share and grow. So I want to thank you all on behalf of Dr. Jackson, our entire team. I want to give one shout out before I get out of here, and that's the Innovation One team. I know that you've heard them throughout the call, led by Dr. Sean Jackson, our president, Miss Leslie Lehman. Some of the stories that I heard about her from her students as I went through this process was incredible. Miss Laura Cheatham, who does a lot of behind the scenes work, but also is tremendous in front of our students and teaching and growing. And then someone that you all can't see right now, Mr. Owen Rodriguez, our content creator. He is behind the scenes. He put all this together. My name is Kiss Allen Glover. This has been an absolute fabulous opportunity. We want to thank you all as we continue to grow in this process. And with that said, I'll pass it on to Miss Leslie Lehman.
Thank you, Casalin, and thank you, panelists. It was so exciting to hear from you. Next up, we want to hear from the rest of the participants today. So I'm about to put a link in the chat for you. And what I'd like you to do is navigate to that link. You'll see a virtual sticky note board where you'll have the opportunity to add questions and comments, collaboration ideas, things you enjoyed, and other ideas that you might have. Your ideas will show up live on the screen, and we're going to be collecting those for future use to iterate our programming and make it better. While we're doing that, Dr. Jackson is going to be available to answer questions. So if you would like to put a question in the chat or take yourself off mute, we'll be doing that as well. And I'm going to show you an example here of how to add one of your sticky note comments.
While we were doing this activity, I want to make sure that I took a moment to thank you all for being with us this evening. Truly appreciate the support, the collegiality, and the opportunity to continue this work. So obviously to Apple, to all of our partners, to our panelists, to guests that are with us today, to our sister colleges, thank you for being with us tonight. Truly, on behalf of our Truman College team, as well as City Colleges of Chicago, we want to thank you for being with us this evening. I think we can open it up to questions. It's a little difficult in the digital space to do this without it being clunky, so my apologies for not having a better system. But we can open up questions to anyone in the group. I think we can just, I say blurt them out maybe. I'm not sure if there's a better methodology at this point. Thank you for participating in the idea boards. We appreciate that, and we take all that feedback very seriously. So I can, Leslie, if you want, I can start grabbing stuff off the idea board if that would make the most sense. Okay, and feel free, team. So for, I think one of the questions is, how will the community space be advertised? Excited to see what takes place in the space. Here's what's really cool is, you know, and I don't get political, but I need to give a shout out to our Alderman, James Kappelman, who has been an amazing partner for us here. When I pitched him the idea, I didn't know he was an Apple user. And, you know, he is like a diehard Apple user. So he was really excited about just having the open access to community. We didn't want to do a lot of advertising yet as we are coming behind the pandemic. However, that field trip experience that we've alluded to with students is something that we're going to be doing with parents and community members as well. So we're just really excited about having those strategic partnerships for people to use the space. But we're also going to use our local media outlets. And one thing I think Dr. O'Malley kind of alluded to it, we've really been of community these last few years, and we have a great team that is supporting that work. And we see this no different, and it's why we created the space. So we'll be using some of the local media outlets here, but we hope when we are open for business, that the word of mouth is really something that will support. And again, we're going to be very strategic and intentional with that whole field trip experience, because we want folks not to just experience the space, but really be able to experience the learning in the space. Okay, I'm going to take another one. How will you ensure faculty and support staff from each college location work and collaborate with each other? That is a phenomenal question. I want to turn that over to Leslie, because she was kind of voluntold what this is going to look like. However, I will say before I turn it over to Leslie, you know, what's so great about this, and I've told folks, our external partners, so those of you internally will kind of know what I'm talking about. City College is big and small at the same time, right? So we're small enough where we can have those collegial relationships and really build together, but we're big enough that we really canvas this entire large city and are able to touch these 77 neighborhoods in ways that a lot of other organizations can't. And so we're really excited about having the opportunity to collaborate. I think it starts with some of the training and the other things that we have cooked up already, but specifically into how we service in Innovation One, I will turn it over to Leslie to kind of provide a little bit of her thoughts.
Yeah, thank you. So there's 3 different ways that we're working to make sure that the Innovation One spaces are really well integrated and that people have the appropriate access and training that they need to feel really comfortable in those spaces and to share ideas with each other. One is that it's our plan for each of the locations to have a local advisory board so that there's internal stakeholder and community feedback on programming, use of space, scheduling dates, those really important decisions that might be different from college to college. Across the district as well, there's also going to be an Innovation One committee with representatives from all of the satellite locations that'll involve a range of stakeholders that are really important to kind of keeping the wheels on the bus and making sure that things work really well, specifically for their college, and sharing great ideas across the different locations. So those include things like IT specialists, a program coordinator, faculty, and key staff who might be using the space, things like testing center tutoring. Then on the faculty level, each campus is going to be charged with developing their own local community of practice. We started that work at Truman this spring in our faculty pilot. That was not only an intentional training time, but it was an intentional time for collaboration and iteration, where faculty who were excited about the use of technology, who were excited about the use of the new spaces on our campus, were able to come together and share ideas, ask questions, have decision-making capabilities about the labs and spaces and things that we were learning. That'll continue throughout the year. And we've been working really hard to make sure that there's kind of some like steam to those collaboration spaces. So making sure that there's opportunities to participate in a variety of modalities, emails, Slack, in-person opportunities. And we'll be ramping those up as we're able to return back to campus in person as well.
And if I could say something, Leslie, I just saw in the ideas to add, there was a comment about bilingual parents. Did you want to share the experience we had in this process?
Yeah, so we have so many bilingual students, faculty, and staff on our campus, and it's one of our favorite populations to serve. And in my work with the early childhood educators, I found there was a small group of participants that were kind of attempting to like pull back or opt out. And I was able to dig into a little bit of what was going on there. And there was a language access issue. I'm only able to instruct in English, and there was a need for Spanish language instruction in order for them to feel secure and to have access to the curriculum and the devices. We were able to put them in touch with Spanish language supports that already existed from Apple support websites, YouTube videos, and they were able to continue on with programming. They made their own community of practice, and we did special mini sessions with them where we slowed things down and made sure that the instruction was working for them. And so some of them were able to get all the way through the end of the class and create their own app design, which was really, really exciting for us. We're intentionally hosting our community space inside of a space that was previously dedicated to supporting literacy in our community. And it's really important to us to think about language literacy, digital literacy, and access as all being really tightly interrelated. And it is our hope to be able to integrate some of our adult education services and language acquisition services into the uses of technology and spaces that we have.
And one of the things I would just, oh, sorry, I'm echoing. Let me go back. The largest adult ed population in the entire state of Illinois. And so it is part of, to Leslie's point, of the practice that we have and the space that they are using. Hi, I'm in the podcast studio too. One thing that has come up is that we are really intentional about how we support people, and we put our community hub in what used to be their main tutoring space. So it's a place that they're already familiar and comfortable with. And we did that really intentional because we're focused on that access. Sorry, thank you.
No, it was good.
I would also say on a little lighter note, I see someone said the DJ would be a great place to introduce the panelists in podcasting. Don't think we didn't try it. We were a little scared with audio issues, and we figured, you know, now that you had the silent drum line, that probably would not have worked. But we have tried it in the past. We did it with graduation. It's an excellent idea. Kiss Allen has done many activities in the podcast room, and he's not telling a fib. We can't get him out of there, even though his day job is the director of enrollment management for our college. Yes. Okay. Well, I want to be mindful of time. Again, I want to thank everyone for being here this evening. This should not be our last time together, but truly appreciate everyone's time this evening. Appreciate the feedback. And thank you all for supporting this vision, and particularly Apple. I cannot tell you again, thank you so much for just believing in us, and truly appreciate the time and care you have taken with us. So thank you all. Is this, I don't know how you say bye virtually. Okay. Sayonara. Good to see everyone. Thanks so much. Have a good evening, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Peace, one Truman.
Thank you.
Yes, on Truman. I forgot it. Yes, always on Truman. Thanks, guys.
Wonderful job, Ms. Bradley. I ain't never tapped a desk in my life. I don't know where that came from tonight.
I think we're all just like a little everything.